What's up?
Oh, hi.
Hey.
That is a streak of color that I see there.
I decided to paint today.
Oh, is that what that is?
It is that indeed.
Something that you have to do or something that you want to do?
This is something I'm doing for my kids. So, not really something I have to do, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Now I'm redoing their playroom. So, they asked for this a while ago, actually. One of them did, and I've never done it. So I thought, I'm going to pull out some of my canvases that I've never finished. See, you're working on some inking for the...
Yeah. Penciling, inking, just on these pages. I've been noodling away at several pages for the last, today and yesterday. And I really do this weird thing where, like, I've obviously spent a bunch of time on that panel there, but not the rest. And then I've done these couple panels here, but not finished up the top one there. And haven't inked anything on this one, and this one I've inked half of it, and I'm just kind of moving around from page to page depending on what I want to do or what's ready to go or what I don't know. It's just I'm all over the place. I don't know what the hell my deal is.
And I get that, though. Maybe sometimes it's best to do what you feel like you're in the mood for at the moment,
Sometimes it does kind of work that way where it's just like if there's some kind of exciting thing that you want to do, just jump on that part. Just do it. You still have to come back and do the other tedious stuff later, but if you're really feeling it, in fact, you're feeling excited and vibing on it, attack something fun. There's no need to like have that feeling and then go draw like the boring shit if you have the opportunity. Why not? Just,
Probably will come out better, too, if, like, in that moment, you're like, oh, I'm vibing on this, or I really want to do this, and I don't know. Instead of trying to do the stuff that you're not feeling in the moment, you're not
yeah.
inspired to do.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me.
Oh, we had our first regulars showing up here already. Look at that. Someone saying Mr. D Man, Mr. J Ultra. That's the crew right there.
Hello, hello. Yeah, for all my shit talk on the new Disney Star Wars, I'm definitely doing a Baby Yoda painting here for my children.
Hey, Baby Yoda is cute.
He is cute, yes.
Now that we got the stream going, now we got you trapped, Jessica. Now you have to explain everyone what the hell happened to you and why we're not opening unboxing things.
Oh.
I'm just you don't know what anybody
Mr. D Man, I will say this, at least you're not watching that ridiculous Chiefs game. They getting wrecked by the Broncos. It's an embarrassment. Yes. So the thing with me is, well, first off, I had some things come up this week with my health. As most of you guys know, I'm pretty pregnant at this point. And I woke up in the middle of the night. We were originally supposed to do it, and I was having some issues health-wise that were a little bit concerning. So I ended up kind of dealing with that and having to go in and have the doctors help me out with that one. And then and my husband's hernia in the midst of me asking him to move a bunch of crap around the house, got re-injured. He has an umbilical hernia that he's going in for surgery actually here in just a little bit. And so he's not really able to climb up there and get that down. And I told Rob, I said, well, I could just climb up there and open it from up there in the rafters with my ladder. And Rob said, no, you won't.
That,
So,
yeah, hell no.
so basically, what we're going to do is my brother in law is going to come and get it for me and get it down at some point this week so that I can actually open it. And maybe it'll just be a surprise. So if you're real fans, which is what most of you are always here hanging out, then maybe we'll just spring it on one of the lives or something, when when I know that it's, down. So I have to watch
Yeah.
every single live to see.
Oh, now it seems like a ploy to get people to watch. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are 100% correct that I was very much against the idea of you climbing up there. Not that you can't climb, but you are like 8 months pregnant, not having it. I'm not going to get that text like, girl was climbing up the ladder and fell down and horrible things happened. And what the hell was she
I
doing
was
up
really
there?
gonna do it too.
I believe you.
I was thinking I'd have my 10-year-old steady the ladder for me. Cause
Oh, and then you fall down and kill him, and then yourself, and your husband becomes the Punisher and goes on a murderous rampage to kill me because I encouraged this.
well, you could probably take him with his hernia. It makes you feel.
Oh, I can't believe you said that. That's fucked up, and the hernia.
How dare you make us do what we were going to do anyhow? Wait, did the 49ers lose? Why the sad face of the 49ers? What happened? See, I'm not even watching football. This is now I'm concerned.
Hey, Mr. Skeleton, joining up as well. Yeah, y'all and your football games.
You got to get into it.
I,
I'm going to
I,
invite you over for the Super Bowl.
but we don't want no negative energy in the house, so that's
Well,
probably
I
what
mean,
it's.
I doubt my team's making it to the Super Bowl this year, so I don't really care that much. They lost. They lost. Wow. That's well, that was one of my picks down the drain. But I really am. I'm going to invite you over for the Super Bowl. You're going to love it though because I make a lot of food that is delicious. Best part, you know, yeah, or Utah doesn't have a football team. Denver is basically Utah's football team. That's who the Chiefs are losing to right now. Um, but I'm gonna I make a ton of food, and it's delicious, and you stuff yourself, and you drink a lot, and then you get all crazy, and it's fun. So
When is the Super Bowl supposed to happen? When's that come up?
it'll be February.
Okay, I was going to say, you got a child. What's the time frame? You're still going to have a little baby.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's okay.
You know what? You
He
could
has
convince me.
Chiefs jerseys already.
I was going to say, if you wanted to uh, coax me over, you could just say, I need somebody to hold the baby. I'd be like, oh, sold.
Oh, really?
Oh, for real. No joke. 100%. I'm like, I can't remember if I told you how my brother John, he's got his little baby's 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
And the first couple times I went and visited them, when he was just, brand new. And then the first couple of months when I'd come visit, I couldn't go over there and not hold his baby without like getting teary eyed, just because it just is.
Aw.
I can't control it. I'm not like trying to be all like cool. I don't know. It just made me just holding this little baby. It just reminded me of my own little guys when they were little tiny things. And
Yeah.
that was 8 years ago at the most recent. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it just, I don't know. I'm surprised it welded up inside me. But my brother's like, I don't know, Rob. I want to let you hold my baby. You're gonna cry like a little bitch. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cry like a little bitch. Give me that kid.
Did he really say that? That's so funny. That's awesome though. You know what? That's neat though.
Yeah,
I don't think that's being a little bitch at all.
I know. I don't think that. I say it to try to maintain my man card, but I really don't care.
Hello, Daniel. He's in here as well.
Oh, hey, what's up, Mr. Goodwin? Yeah, I didn't mean to distract from the awesome football conversation, but I don't have anything to say about football. So,
I don't have anything to say today either. What a disaster.
so what happened to your team then? Are they?
Patrick Mahomes needs to get his shit together. He gets paid so much money. Everybody worships him in the NFL, and he can't get his shit together today. So get it together. Anyway, that's all I'm
I
gonna
feel
say.
like you have strong feelings on that subject.
I know my husband's like, you are the worst fan ever. He's like, because you never believe in your team, and you're never like, oh, but they had injuries. Oh, but like, no. You get paid millions of dollars a year to play sports. If you cannot get out there and do it, then I got nothing good to say about you.
Fuck your broken ankle. Go out there
Yeah,
and run.
do better next week. You know what, Dak Prescott? I'm sorry that your stupid finger is always hurting. Get out there and play. Like, it's just annoying. They drive me nuts.
Did Taylor Swift jinx the Chiefs, as Mr. D Man is saying?
She didn't show today, so maybe that's why. She's busy, I guess. She didn't want to come to Denver, I guess. So maybe she did. Not like Travis is playing very great today, so
Oh, back in the day when I watched basketball, I remember getting that fired up about the team and the play when they're doing awesome. It's so fun, but when they're just fucking up and doing the dumbest things, it gets you so agitated. And I miss it, but I also don't, because I don't need that agitation in my life.
excuse me. It's true. It's true. When the Chiefs won, that was like 2019, I think. They won the Super Bowl. Maybe it was 2020. I can't even remember now. They hadn't won or been to a Super Bowl since like 1970, I think. Well, at least they hadn't won a
Oh,
Super Bowl since 1970. And I've been watching them since I was like 19. And oh, I was so happy that they finally won that I was crying. I was
oh wow.
screaming. They actually beat the 49ers. I was crying. And my neighbors knocked on the door to see if we were okay because I was so loud. I mean, we were in a townhouse, but
Mr. D Man's asking you a question or a statement, I guess. Let's
to be
see.
fair, Patrick Mahomes has a black sheep. We're talking about Jackson. Yeah, he's the curse of the family. I think that's who you're talking about. Could be
He must be.
Brittany though. Could be that or Brittany. Jackson's like charged and dealing with charges of like um uh sexual assault and stuff right now. Yep. Knew it. Old Jackson boy. But does that really make somebody play bad? I don't know. Get it together, you know? If I was being paid millions of dollars a year, what's going on in my family when I'm out on the field, that can stay, you know?
Brutal.
Just my
Is
opinion.
your is your husband a fan of the same team as you too?
Marcus, he doesn't like any type of sports, really.
Oh, really? So this is like just you. Like he's not really into it.
No, he'll watch with me on occasion, and he if he's gonna root, obviously he goes Chiefs. Like, I mean, it's funny because when he goes to business on business meeting, goes to business to Chicago, he always they always want him to everybody to dress up for their favorite team at least one of the days while he's there. And he's always like, I guess I'll wear a Chiefs shirt. I don't know. I don't like any type of team. He doesn't like baseball. He doesn't like basketball.
Wow.
He's a computer nerd. So,
I guess it's better for him to be neutral rather than liking football, but you're both on like opposing teams. That'd
oh.
create for a fun little dynamic.
Yeah, it's true. And it's funny that you're saying this, someone's saying, because from my money being, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Uh, that's how he grew up. His dad says the same stuff. He's like, I just can't care less. He's like, what's going on in sports ball? That's what he calls it.
Sports ball.
No matter what we're watching, it's always sports ball. He's like, I just don't care. Like, no matter what I do, they're not gonna. If I'm rooting for him or not, it's probably not gonna change anything. And
Yeah.
rather do something else with my time. So yeah, he came in to being with me and just kind of was like, okay, whatever. You like football.
Okay. I guess I'll deal with it.
In fact, one of our dates we had when I taught him. It was a date after we've been married for a long time. It's like an anniversary actually. Is we watched the Steelers Browns game where old Rudolph got his helmet pulled off. If anybody knows that game, and that was the first football game he'd watched all the way through ever.
Wow. He must have really been into you.
Yeah, he was like, "Teach me the rules," and then he was like, "Wow, there's fighting in football."
Like, damn. I thought
Then he
that was
was really
hockey.
excited. Then he realized it didn't happen that way every game. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's funny. Really liking these faces. I feel like you're getting like expression on faces. Not that you haven't always done this, but just some of the stuff. I kind of was looking through that book, the fifth one. Just some
Yeah.
of your facial expressions that you're getting on people are just dead on.
I appreciate it. It's a struggle, but always trying to get a look of, there's supposed to be a sense of panic or anger or fear, and got to convey that somehow. I can't just have everyone like gritting their teeth and looking awesome all the time.
That's true. That's true. It's just it's really like dead on lately.
Well, I appreciate it.
Mr. Skeleton here says, I'm literally the same. Don't much care about sports, but I respect the passion people have for it. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And it's fun when, you know, you root for a long time and your team's the underdog and they finally get it together. And so, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
also something for me super nostalgic because my dad is I grew up a Green Bay Packers fan. Simply because my dad was such a huge Green Bay Packers fan. And I mean, the man, if they were playing on Thanksgiving, he didn't have Thanksgiving dinner. Like, that's just, it didn't happen. And he would get so passionate. I think he like broke a couple candlesticks one time. Like he just got crazy with it. And so for me growing up, that was just something that, you know, all of us kids just knew. Like the Packers games on, we're watching it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember the fun of it, like I say, because I would watch basketball and being
mhm.
a Utah Jazz fan back in the day when they went to the finals and had the unfortunate situation of going up against Jordan, which no one was ever going to beat him. So,
Yeah,
but
we'll beat him sometimes.
you might get a one-off, but you're not. You might win the battle, but you're not going to win the war.
That
So,
is absolutely 100% true. You're right.
yeah. But how fun it was when your team's doing good and they're just on fire and just nailing it, and then next time, the next game, they absolutely just fall to pieces, and you're like, "What the fuck happened? You guys were doing great just 2 days ago. Why can you not do the same?"
Hmm.
Uh,
It's true. It's true. And you just, everybody's like, it's not, it's just a game. And you're like, is it though?
is it? Is it? That sounds like talk of losers.
Yeah,
I
is it,
don't need that,
or is it more than a game?
right? It's a lifestyle.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Mr. D Man says, I actually designed logos for the NHL in my 20s and they liked them. I got a sweatshirt and a hat. That's pretty sick.
I'd be mad if I designed a major logo that ended up being like a big deal, and then like you don't get a cut of that.
Hold on a second. Sorry, my 8-year-old's in here. What do you want? Can I play the PlayStation with Mitchell? You can. Just keep it down. I like all your drawing. Oh, thank you. I'm actually painting it. But,
It's the
but
same
thanks.
thing, Mom.
Is it the
Painting, drawing. Is it though?
uh yeah, so was it an a is it the actual logo they used today? Or I guess is was it logos for different teams or what was it that you did? Because that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Going to town on the sink in here.
Oh yeah. I just start going nuts and start throwing down the easy lines, and then I'll fill in the hard shit later. But
Yeah. They liked my Phoenix Coyotes logo better than the other they used. They should have got a cut. Oh, wow. Yeah, you should have. 100%. That's pretty cool, though.
part of me kind of wishes I saw for you, Jess, that canvas that you did, that the background, like those. I kind of wish I could have. I'd like to see you like make that, the process of you making those background colors. And I know it's probably just a really simple, you know, thing, but I just keep looking at that. I'm like, I kind of wanted to see that get made.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's actually not even very well covered. I can looking at it now, I'm like, Jessica, when I did this like a couple years ago, why didn't you finish this? It's not even fully covered. But yeah, it honestly just comes down to just taking a big old brush and swiping different colors back and forth. Kind of start with the colors that you want, mostly saturated in certain areas. Then you go over and you might add some like little tiny pieces of the other colors and
Yeah,
till it looks like how you want it.
yeah. I'm having an awkward moment in this drawing because I'm drawing this guy and he's got his legs all spread out, so I'm drawing a big crotch shot.
I actually noticed noticed that.
And I spent some time trying, like, how do I get it? I want it to look, it's got to look three dimensional, like his body's come down, it's got an angle back, and I got to get his little taint area in here. I mean, he's clothed, but I'm like, God damn. But yeah, the idea is that this guy, he got flung away and he's knocked the hell out. He's smashed into some rubble and trees and he's unconscious and out of the battle. So I'm trying to say have him like splayed out, but I'm like, God, Rob, that's we're not drawing porn comics here. Or I don't know, maybe I am. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should. I
Honestly,
missed my
you might have missed your calling. Yeah, exactly.
just
Maybe you should draw some porn comics. I bet
maybe that
we would get even more people tuned in for that.
I 100% sex sells. And I watched some guys do like Kickstarters where they like it's almost exclusively like a freaking like porn sex book. Man, they clean up. They just make money like crazy good. And even my brother and I were both talking. We're like, Jesus, what are we doing wrong? Maybe that's what we should be doing. But I want to make something I'm actually like passionate about, not just something I'm going to make money at. But damn,
You're not passionate about sex?
I mean, how do I? My my single ass sitting over here. I guess I'd have to say negative because never mind. I'm just going to stop right there.
Oh, okay.
But that being said, there is that whole. I mean, I'm being for real. Like the idea of like you could get money coming your way. I'm like, I mean, I son of a bitch, maybe there's something to it.
Yeah.
But I'll
No,
just keep doing this that I am.
true. Actually, know a guy. He writes stories or books, and he writes great books. It's just getting a book to get published, and it's just it's not easy. And he was talking about. He said, I see a lot of these authors, and what they do a lot of books first that are just like kink books. And he's like, part of me is
Right.
like, should I just write a quick like to get my name out there and to get people, you know what I mean? Like, he's
For
like, this is
real.
terrible.
Yeah. Let's take advantage of the perverted audience that's out there that likes this shit. If it gives you the opportunity to like make your art and then get your name out there, then maybe you can actually work on something worthwhile. But on the flip side, maybe people don't give a shit about your like real stuff. They're like, man, where's where's the stuff we're here for, man?
That's fair. That's fair too. It might just backfire on you a little bit there.
Right. I don't know what's going on my little phone here with the messages that are coming in, but it's like overlaying two messages together, so I
Yeah,
can't
mine's doing that
read.
too. But I've got my
Oh, so it's not me?
pulled up, so I'm actually
Yeah.
reading them on my computer screen. Because I think that's the easiest way. Like Mr. D-Man says, I still have those logos. Oh, cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then look at the mustache on that dude. That's true. He's got some
Yeah.
Tom Selleck action going on here.
Right. Got a full on like lumberjack beard going on. He gives mustache rides you wouldn't believe.
Oh wow, that's good to know. Now I have to think about
Right.
that every time I read
Right.
a book.
Now that you see the character, you're
See,
like, oh, all right.
this is Rob trying to get that whole sex sells thing going on here.
You'd think he'd focus on the ladies, but no, he's focusing on like the dude stuff. We just wasn't what we were expecting.
Hey, no judgment here. Zero judgment.
Oh, judge. Lots of judgment. Come on, be honest.
I no, not a single one, baby. You do you. Hulk Hogan style. That's true. It is. I also. You really broke my heart last night, Rob. By the way.
Like, why? Remind me.
Because I didn't know Matthew Perry died.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yeah, that just we just got off that stream and I saw that. And when I just jumped real quick over to one of the, I can't remember if it's Instagram or whatever social media, and I saw someone else post it, and so I went and I googled it real quick, and oh damn,
That really sucks.
yeah,
Especially for him, of course, but yeah, that was
yeah. I keep
but you're
wondering what we're gonna find as time goes on. If there was like, it says he drowned in a tub, but was he like high or something? Did he try and kill himself, or was it an accident? But how do you drown in a tub on your own if you're not in an altered state?
so I actually read that the the EMTs on site said he suffered cardiac arrest. He had a heart
Uh,
attack, is what
but
I was
still, he was only, yeah, and that's, I mean, I guess in a way, I, if he had to go, I'd rather it be a medical thing than like he got high and just drowned himself or killed himself or some shit like that. But
Mhm.
at 54, I mean, I wonder if it was due to past drug use that made his heart in bad condition or something.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, even if there wasn't drugs involved now, I would say that played a huge role in how early on he passed away. Because on the show, it was funny when you were asking me this because I was trying to figure out if you were asking just to find out. I was the way you worded it. You asked me, "Did you ever watch Friends when it was on?" And I've watched Friends probably 100 times through, but I never. I mean, I was 14 when the show ended, so I really didn't watch it much before it didn't air anymore.
Right.
But I was saying, I do know a lot about the show, and one of the things that they talked about with him in particular is, he had, if you notice, he kept having all this fluctuation with his weight
Right.
during the show, and that was a lot contributed from his drug and alcohol abuse. And it was a hot tub. That's what I read too. Someone saying says I heard it was a hot tub. He could have passed out from the heat, especially if he was using something or high blood pressure from the past use. Yeah, I read it was a hot tub, and that they did from what I read, they confirmed he had cardiac arrest. So, sound like he had a heart attack while sitting in the hot tub,
Damn.
from what I understood. And he was alone. So,
Yeah. That sucks. It's like one of those things where some people get like, who the hell gives a shit about a celebrity? I'm like, well, I mean, I don't. I don't know this human being. But certain ones, have been part of your life for
mhm.
years, or sometimes in certain instances, it's been part of your life for as long as you've been alive. Like a character that you've watched over and over since being in a child, and or so they've been part of the adventures that you've had as you've grown up, and the escapism and the fun. And so, when someone like that goes, especially if they've outside of, he's had his struggles with addictions, but as far as I know, there hasn't been any other, like, he was part of some Epstein's Island child rape cult or some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? If they're
Yeah.
just
Oh, I don't
human
think.
being, but they've had struggles. I mean, guess what? I know a lot of people with struggles. I've got struggles, but so it kind of makes you sad when someone you kind of liked and just kind of is gone suddenly.
And he was so iconic. Uh, just played such a huge role in the '90s. I mean that whole show was kind of groundbreaking in a lot of areas. Um, they
Uh,
talked openly about homosexuality. They definitely swore quite a bit, but it was interesting because a lot of people who watched it, you had a lot of like moms and families even watching it. It was kind of interesting how they were able to kind of break some of those barriers. But yeah, it's true. Mr. D Man says that Hollywood life ain't good for everyone.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
so true. And I always think about, oh, like it's just so bad today in Hollywood. But if you go back and you even look at some of the crime and the murders and all of the stuff going on and drug abuse and alcohol abuse going on in like the 30s in Hollywood. I mean, people were struggling even then with
Well, the reality is that human beings are, once you get a lot of money and the ability to have everything you've ever wanted, and you're the or you're one of those people that has all this money and power, and then they've got the people that are surrounding you, and you're the money ride for them as well. You're not going to be you have access to anything you want. You have to have a profound sense of self-control to not indulge in every human bad choice and vices and all that type of shit, because you can and you will. It's so easy to fall into it. Human beings will choose the worst things for themselves, and so to survive you have to either get out of it early or have a great deal of self-control, and most
Keanu,
people don't. What's that?
and that is Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think that guy deals great with that stuff. Hello, Courtney. Mysteries and scandals with AJ Benza, Mr. D-Man says. I don't know exactly. I don't know what he's talking about, but can you explain yourself, sir? I'm assuming. Yeah, it's sad. Just goes to show that money and fame are not all they're cracked up to be, which we
Yeah,
all
you
know.
really.
We'll all want it.
Yeah, yeah. You really have to be grounded to keep your shit together. I mean, you just
Yeah,
like look at Britney Spears. That girl's lost her mind. It seems like on multiple stages. And I think she's going through one right now.
yeah,
I think
it's
she's
true.
going through a little. Do you see that video of her like dancing in her underwear with the knives?
Oh, who hasn't seen that? That is disturbing, and it's so
I,
sad. It's
yeah,
so sad because again, growing up, I mean, for me, Britney Spears was like an idol. You know, I was like 9 when her first album came out, and Um, oh, Mr. Demon says he talks about old Hollywood. And it's crazy because to me, old Hollywood doesn't look that much different than Hollywood today. They were pretty corrupt then. Uh,
yeah.
and so people are like, oh, the world today's gotten so bad. I just don't know if we just didn't know that much about it as much as we do now.
Oh yeah, there. I mean, considering the amount of cameras and transparency and that type of stuff, you go back to the 30s, like you're saying, no one knew no damn thing about anything that was going on behind.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely has bipolar for sure. I mean, I think even a lot of the experts have said so. Because that's what Courtney is saying, that
Yeah.
she has to have bipolar because it's just the things she does and how she acts. Um,
And I'm no expert on any of it, obviously, but even if it could be that she may not have a something like that, it's just she's locked in this life of profound, over the top fame, and you just can't keep yourself grounded and real. It's you can't keep your shit together because the enormous pressures you've got and all the money you've got and all the access to drugs and alcohol and everything. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a difficult life to maintain control on.
it's true. Um, Lots of childhood stars usually have bad endings. There's got to be, because it's true. If you look at Aaron Carter, I mean, what just happened to him not that long ago? Uh,
What I know the name, but I don't. What happened to him?
So Aaron Carter was, and I don't know if you know who the Backstreet Boys are. I certainly
Of
do.
course.
Grew up with them. So Nick Carter, it's his little brother. Um, and I believe he overdosed, but I think he was trying to, if I remember correctly. Someone can correct me. Um, but he never could get it together. He was kind of in a very similar mindset, it seems like, as Brittany, where he just grew up his whole life in the limelight. Um, he really did too. I mean, it was from the get go because Nick was popular, and then they had their family show, and he was, he did music as well, and he got into drugs, of course, and he was, he's according to him, he was bullied online and stuff a lot, and he couldn't handle what people were saying about him, and he would get on social media and talk about how awful it was to read the things people wrote about him. And then, yeah, one day they found him, and I really do think he just never had a normal life, and he didn't know how to live. Once, you know, it died down and it wasn't about him so much, people kind of forgot about him. I think it was hard to know what to do with himself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, he just didn't know
That
how to live because he'd always had the popularity and somebody to tell him what to do with himself.
yeah. God,
So,
I wish I could read comments. It's just all goofed up.
let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to read for you here. So, Tony says child stars. I mean, oh, he said earlier, or she said, sorry if I'm, lots of childhood stars usually have bad endings. There's got to be something to it. And then later on said, child stars, I mean, someone saying said she was doing a dance that Shakira did. I think only Shakira didn't use actual knives, talking about Britney. Yeah, exactly. Mr.
Oh,
D Man says Lou Perryman ruined all those kids. Yep. He owned the record label for the Backstreet Boys, Britney, NSYNC, etc., etc. We're on. Yeah, it's true. It's true. There was definitely, and a lot of them were on Disney too. And I feel
oh
like
yeah,
I, don't get me started on Disney. Um, Courtney says, I can't even imagine how hard the fame would be, especially with no privacy and all the executives that want and all the executives want you to do what makes them money. It's true. Your life is not your own. And I feel like if you want to stop, you've got to, a lot of times the parents have control, and you
yeah,
know, there's that. Um, you look at Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, uh, they also had all kinds of issues. I think they were able to at least back out of it at some point. Someone saying said, I don't know. I've never been rich. I'd better try it out. At first, everyone throw your money at me and we'll get to the bottom of this.
seriously, yeah. Let me try it out. I
He's
can
like,
handle the
I'll be
thing.
the test subject. We'll
All right,
figure
he's
it.
gonna take the he'll take the bullet for all of us.
Exactly. Mr. Demon says those kids' parents should have lawyers around, especially when they sign these contracts. It's true. And the sad part
Yeah,
is, though, I feel like a lot of the parents see the dollar signs and they think, oh, I'm doing the right thing for my kid. I don't know if any of you watched the Brooke Shields documentary, Pretty Baby, but that was really eye opening to me, too, of what some parents are okay with, and
yeah,
put their kids through. I mean, she wasn't really someone that my generation, but I obviously know who she is. And so when I watched it, I was really surprised at what her mom, and I'm not saying her mom wanted to hurt her, but what her mom was willing to allow her to do it, and at such a young age. And it's just interesting. It's really interesting to me being a
sure
mom.
be.
What'd you
Yeah,
say?
it's just disturbing what some parents will let their kids do because the kids are bringing in lots of money and they don't think they're doing any harm, but you're probably doing the worst kind of harm.
Yeah. It's interesting. And I guess I can't say I don't know exactly what I would do in some of these situations, but I just think I can't imagine a world where I would be okay with some of these things. Uh,
Right.
Miley Cyrus, even some of the stuff that happened with her, you know, it's just interesting. It's interesting to see where, like, how boundaries get pushed with these child stars.
Yeah. You know,
Don't
I just say you bring up Miley Cyrus. She's the one that I don't like her or dislike her, but it seems like so far she's been able to keep her head about her for the most part.
Yeah, she's had some what's the word I'm looking for? Some controversy for sure. Um
Yeah.
and a lot of people really judged her hard. But again, she had some issues when she was a young teen with some, like, there was a photo shoot they did of her, like, in a just a sheet, and she was only like 14, and all kinds of stuff that just seemed, you know, to other parents who was kind of, uh, what are you doing? Like, why are you letting your daughter do this?
Right.
Just stuff like that happened. But I like her as well myself for the most part. I really like her new song that she came out with, which Courtney says, "Don't get me started on those family vlogging channels on YouTube. There is no protection for those kids." Yep, and we know firsthand here in Utah because we just had one that ended up being disastrous. Um,
What with the what is it?
the family vlogging channels on YouTube, the mom and the kids and day-to-day
Oh,
stuff. The times they'll get sponsors and all that, and I forget what her name is, but in Utah here, she was just arrested, I believe. Um,
oh, that's right. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
kids were being abused pretty hardcore. Um, Mr. D-Man says, "I just want me some of that Rob Liefeld money. I'd be fine."
Wow. To be fair, Liefeld does have a pretty cushy life, so I would take it too. But that's the only thing of his I'd want.
Wow. I just think that maybe if we put you two in a room together, you guys could work out
Jesus,
this.
imagine
um,
that.
uh, Someone says, "I think it's more the parents think they're doing the right thing for their own bank accounts in a lot of cases." I would say you're right. I hate to say that and I hate to think that, but you're right. Um,
Yeah,
Mr. Demon says, "Yep, using their kids as a cash cow." Tony says, "The Osmond family must have done something right. I don't recall ever hearing anything bad about them, role models and all." Tony says, or Mr. Demon says, "Tony, Osmonds are Mormons. They can't do no wrong." Hey, you know what? There you go. uh, you know, and I'm sure a lot of it has to do with how closed they keep the secrets in their families and how you handle it in your PR team and all of that. But
yeah,
I don't know. You're right. I haven't heard many things about the Osmonds either. Maybe it works in some situations.
right. Some
That
people can handle it.
that's funny.
Or there's the rare occasion where somebody absolutely was spiraling and because most of these people are legitimately talented, right? But
Yeah,
then they spiral out. But then you have like Robert Downey Jr., who went through really messed up shit, drug addictions, and he should have been out, right? You think he wouldn't have made it, but he was able to rebound and get his head clear and become Iron Man. And You know what I mean? Like, hey,
Oh
that's
yeah, he was
good for.
definitely one of those people that, and he had some a lot. He had some. Who was it? Who I saw him? He was like to tears talking about. Was it Mel Gibson who ended up being like a pen pal to him, or ended up talking him through some of his stuff? I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't him. But he had.
Sounds.
I feel like it might have been him. I'm the worst at
Yeah.
remembering things. Anyway, I do think, you're right. There are instances where people are able to get it together and figure it out for sure.
Yeah. I just hope that he maintains it, because I'd feel really bad if we suddenly found out that he's into some really messed up shit. And I'm like, oh, I really, really liked him. don't don't
Yeah.
ruin it, man.
Yeah. He's a cool person.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really always really know people, but you kind of get that sense about them. It's kind of like um, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, here we go.
I don't think Ryan Reynolds is anything to write home about as an actor. I really don't. But I get this vibe like he's actually a really legitimately great dude and good husband, good father. I really do.
Right.
I don't think that's an
Yeah.
act. Maybe I'm crazy, but
Well, we have no reason to believe otherwise, and so I'd err on the side of, giving someone the benefit of the doubt until there's reason to know otherwise.
right. It's true. It's true. I gotta go check on my kids. I don't have anybody here to watch them really fast. So give me a second.
Oh, where's your husband at?
Oh, I'd tell you, but he'd sound like a real nerd. Hold on. Hey, boy. Hey, Mitch. Everything good down there? He's tired to sleep. Okay, cool. So no, you know, he is a nerd in a different way than
Sure.
this way. He's a big gamer, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he's a huge gamer. Well, this weekend I think it's like the international or the national or something Dota games. So Dota is a video game, but the pros play. And so he and his buddies got together, got food and drinks and stuff, and that's what they're doing. They're watching other people play video games. So I'd like to just point that out when he makes fun of the fact that I watch other people play sports. So, um, Wiley J, I actually am waiting for my brother-in-law to be able to come over and pull it down out of the rafters. It's about 12 feet up, and it probably weighs about 60, 70 pounds. So I'm waiting for him to do it because I can't. Rob won't let me. Um,
Right? Your husband, he's got a hernia, so he can't do it for you.
yeah, and my husband, I gave him a hernia because I decided I wanted the whole house moved around and us to do things differently. So I did say earlier it might be the old surprise opening. Whenever he's able to come over and do it, I will let Rob know. Maybe we'll announce it. I'll let him decide since it's his channel. Or maybe it'll just be a surprise. So you'll have to just tune in anytime you see us get on?
I don't know. You might be taking over the channel. I think people show up to listen to you because you're way more charming than my dumbass.
Oh, stop.
Oh, stop it.
Nick Wilson. Yes. Oh my gosh, what? What is it? Um I do feel bad about the unboxing. However, my husband did tell me because he was like, "Why are you getting this down?" He's like, "This is somebody else's stuff." And I explained to him the situation, and he said, "I don't know if they're gonna want to see this." I said, "Well, you said there was comic books in there and DVDs," and he said, and then he told me what was in there. Kind of. I don't think he really knows what it is. I'm like, I actually think this will still be good. I think this will count. So we'll
Now you
see.
got me wondering. I want to have you tell me, like, secretly, so I know. Like, but on this, I'm like, no, I want it to be a secret. I don't want to know. This is
I know. I wish he hadn't told me either, but he's kind of like. So I am painting this off of a reference. I found this sketch on Pinterest. So it is off of a reference, and it was actually not me that found it. It was one of my kids found it at school one day because they were looking for art references, and my son brought it home and he said, "Can you paint me this sketch?" So, I am finally doing this because he asked me actually over a year ago to do this, and I haven't done it yet. So
wow.
I was saying to earlier from my shit talk on Disney Star Wars stuff, I am indeed doing a Baby Yoda. But that'll all I'll do. You'll never catch me doing a Kylo Ren or anything.
Oh, what if I asked for a Kylo Ren?
You wouldn't.
You know,
You might now.
scenario, I believe, Bob.
Uh,
That was funny. Like, please.
oh my goodness. Okay, so I told Rob I was just gonna open the box or the bin and just pull out stuff and show. But he didn't think that was a great idea because I would still be up on the old.
Yeah, I was like, let's tell this exactly right. And the way you worded it just then is like, I have the bin right down here on the floor in front of me. I'm like, no, no, you wanted to take your pregnant self up a ladder 12 feet in the air or something and like hold a camera in one hand and I am not going to be responsible for that.
But you missed the part where I was gonna have my 10-year-old brace the ladder.
That
See,
that makes it exactly zero, better.
now you're not telling the whole story.
Wow. I see how it is now.
I'm just teasing.
Damn. I know, and we've hyped this up so much that by the time we finally get to it, it might be like, oh, that was it. Oh, all right. Well, damn it. We were
I
having
know.
fun hyping.
I'm like, by the time it's all said and done, you're like, what the heck? Thank you, Mr. Skeleton. Thank you, everyone who was talking about the Baby Yoda. I'm glad that it's exciting people. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I was like, this might be lame, but
Hey, it's doing artwork. It's awesome. And everyone loves Baby Yoda. It's cute. I mean, it's looking really good. So
he,
I
you
guess
know,
you're doing something right.
he is cute, even when he ate all those baby frogs, frog people babies.
Oh, that was disgusting and awesome.
That was disgusting and it was super controversial, which I actually was a little bit surprised because I at first didn't understand. And I was like, I guess it kind of was a little bit crazy.
We had like the mom character there, right? And these were like her
Yeah.
babies, and he's like
And they're
totally
like,
eating. I'm like,
it's like a humanoid, you know? And everybody's like,
yeah,
this is like genocide.
yeah.
I was like, oh dear, you're right. But also, he's pretty cute still. And how would he know? You know, he's just a baby. Uh, Corny says, I don't know what you can and cannot see, so I'm just reading them all.
I can't see. I mean, 1 in 10 messages will come through and I can clear. Like Tony just said, the glint in his eyes is what makes him adorbs. Like that I can read, but all the ones above it are just like text on top of text. I can't see anything. So I appreciate that you can kind of fill in there because I can't really pay attention.
Yeah. Mr. Demon says he used to paint. Why don't you paint anymore?
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
yeah. Yeah, Mr. Skeleton had said, that's a great painting. I couldn't paint for the life of me. So I'm sticking to drawing comics like Rob. You know what, though? I find painting so much easier than drawing comics and inking. And I know we've talked about this before, but I'm not just saying this. I really do find it much easier than attempting to do than attempting to ink because when you paint, you can fix it really easy. And I always feel very trapped when I'm inking. So, Courtney says, Rob, your comic pages have been looking hella cool, very dynamic.
Thank, thank
It's
you, Courtney.
it's very true. You've been really, and you've been. I know I always say this, but it always is astonishing to me when I wake up because I've been passed out of sleep for a long time, and you have done. You're like, oh, just some quick more ink, so trying to get these together, and it's like you've done so many. It's how
I
fast.
do them in big batches. I do tend to work like that. That is true.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
I
Yeah.
am kind of panicking because of how much I need to get done to get this book finished. So I'm like, I gotta go. So I told you, like, I'm on vacation the rest of this week,
Uh
and
huh.
like my intention is just be sitting here and just getting as much as I can done because I just want to take the opportunity to get a good big head start because I got so much to do to get this next book done.
Yeah. Well, and what's your deadline? I guess is it you need to have it done, printed, and ready to go before next Comic Con or
The ideal situation is the next local comic convention that they do in September. Sometimes it's the beginning, it's the middle, it's the end. So,
yeah.
but I have to get it drawn and then I have to scan them and I have to clean them up and then I have to letter them and then leave enough time for printing. So, you know, it's not like I can be drawing up till September. I have to be done by drawing, let's say July, give myself August to do all the rest of it. And that's still pushing it.
Yeah. All right. I mean that it's true. That's not really a ton of time in the scheme of things when you work full time as well.
Yeah.
Wiley J. Draws says drawing a comic is multiple skills: layouts, angles, storytelling, drawing. It's true. It's true. That's why to me I feel like it's very impressive.
Yeah, it's certainly not easy. I think some people want to get started on this and like I just have to draw like muscly guys and hot girls just punching each other. I can make comics. No, it's a little
I
more
mean,
to it than that.
if that's what you want to do.
I mean,
It won't be a very good comic book, but have at it.
you can make that work, but you do have to like do more than just it's also seeing the project to the end. It's seeing it through to completion. That,
Yeah.
finishing the project. That is a big deal.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. It's very true. Very true.
Uh,
Extremely impressive.
so my roommate, she bought a PlayStation 5, the newest one.
Oh yeah.
And so and then she bought some Final Fantasy game for it. And she took off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all day. And she works two jobs. She kind of needed a break, but she took off all three and she's just been spending the entire 3 days in her bedroom playing this Final Fantasy game nonstop. She's like, I feel like I'm a loser. I'm doing nothing but playing video games all day. I'm like, you work two jobs and you never take a break. You deserve it. She's like, okay, I'll be back in my room playing my game. I'm like, off you go.
Yeah. You're never a loser if you're playing video games. That's awesome. I've never played the Final Fantasy. However, the new Arc Remastered was released a couple days ago. And I'd be lying if I told you I didn't plan on spending a lot of time the next couple.
You're like, I am totally gonna disappear into this thing.
I feel like I really just need to get in there and tame some dinosaurs. So I might be doing that.
And I don't let myself get too wrapped up in video games because I know that I would.
Mm, Mm, I beg to
What?
I
Really?
have definitely talked to you when you were a little bit obsessed with Grand Theft Auto.
Hey, I still play it,
Hmm.
but it's not a
And
not like a
let us not forget the era in which Rob was infatuated with Red Dead Redemption
two.
2. Oh, I'm sorry. 2, see? I got to get it
Yeah,
right.
yeah. If you're gonna make up scurrilous lies about me, get them right.
Mhm. Mhm.
No, but that's my point. Is it sucks up my time, and I know I'll get sucked into them, so I don't let myself. I haven't played Red Dead in a stretch. My son will. He'll be out there murdering the shit out of innocent cowpokes and just loving it and laughing at it. But I don't. Then I'll
I
get
think
online and play
it's so
Grand Theft
funny he
Auto.
plays that game.
Oh, he loves I because he's like, Daddy, I want to be a cowboy. I'm like, I love that. I 100% love that.
Now, I can't remember because I never played that one all the way through, but the first one I played a lot of. And there was a lot of whorehouses. Is there in this other one?
Um,
I mean, maybe there's not. I can't remember. I just remember the first one. It seemed like you always were going to the old whorehouses to get information.
is that all you did at the whorehouses?
Well,
It's not like Grand Theft Auto where you can like take a hooker around the corner and have the car shake
it wasn't really my
and
style,
literally
but I believe you could. Yeah.
you're like not into that.
Someone saying says, "Oh, Daniel Goodwin says, how many pages do you have left to draw, Rob, for this volume?"
So Dan, my most recent book that I did, I do these in kind of a probably a stupid way and kind of an unfocused way. Is I don't set a page count. Um, I'm just doing it. I am drawing it the way I want to tell the story the way I want to. So I don't set like, okay, it's going to be 100 pages, or my last one was 117, and the book before that was like 78. And I only stopped the book 4 at 78 pages because I ran out of time. But I'm making these as big as they need to be to tell the story that I want, and I suspect it will be at least as big as my last book, 117 to 120, probably more. Um, because I keep thinking like I could shorten up the space. I could, the amount of time I could, condense things and compress it in places I do that. But I want to show these. It's a very selfish project in the sense it's my own and no one else is telling me how to do it. I want to tell it and show it the way that I want to without any kind of reservation. So I am just, however I visually want to do it, I am doing it. And it pads the page count, but I think it adds to the visual interest and the fun. That's at least the idea. So I don't have a page count exactly, but I suspect it'll be at least 120 pages. And I'm working on like the first 10 pages right now. They're in various stages of completion. I've got 3 or 4 of them done, and the rest of them are like this one where you know, they're in progress. But I also tend to work pretty fast,
Yeah.
for better or worse. Once I get going, there was a stretch for like 3, 4 months on the last book. I was literally producing a page a day, still working a full-time job.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
And part of it was because I know we talked about this. I had something to prove because my brother said, "You'll never get that done. That's too many. You need to break it up." And I told him he needs to go directly fuck himself. And I'm going to show him that I can do it. And I did.
Which is funny to me because I mean, that's I don't know. You definitely did. You definitely did. For sure.
It's like,
Made your
tell
big
me I can't.
ever. Um Someone saying says, I've been enjoying Conan Exiles. I haven't played that one, but my husband has. So, and then he said, big surprise, right? Courtney says, GTA is the best. LOL. Daniel says, last game I got into was Red Dead Redemption 2. I tried Cyberpunk 2.0 and Starfield. Dude, Starfield looked like it was good, but found myself wanting to work on my book. Looked like it was going to be good, but it kind of sputtered out. I don't know. Just kind of didn't have like the oomph I thought it was going to. Um, Courtney says, me and my little sis would play GTA and just try and hijack the planes. Oh wow.
Courtney, do you still play? I need a partner in crime. I need to find somebody to help me run some heists or some shit. If you still play, that'd be fun.
That's hilarious. Daniel Goodwin says, nah, I don't exactly know what that's referring to. I'm sorry, we're behind. I'm behind reading this. Freestyling it, I dig it. Yeah, GTA is really fun if you want to, be a criminal but not in real life.
Yeah.
You know what's also great? Everybody talks about GTA, which obviously it's, the king of those type of games. But has anybody ever played Saints Row?
I've
Because
heard people talk.
Saints Row is a gangster game, very similar. But the best part, and I hope this is something I can see on YouTube, is that one of the weapons is this giant purple dildo you can carry around and people with. It's hysterical. You just laugh your ass off. It is the best
Oh
weapon.
yeah,
Hilarious.
you just sold me on that game.
You got to get it. It is hysterical. And you can go get forgiveness. You go through the church drive-through for your forgiveness so that the cops will stop following you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. It wasn't as popular,
Oh.
obviously, but it's very similar in story isn't, as memorable, but the dildo is memorable. So,
I was gonna say, what part did you remember? Good damn.
oh, he says nah to the whorehouses for Red Dead Redemption 2, so there's none in there.
Oh
Quinn says,
yeah, yeah. I was trying to remember. I'm like, I don't think there are. There's a place you can go get a bath and have a girl come in and basically give you a hand job and clean you up, but it's a little bit vague. But there's no whorehouses.
all right, well, fair enough. Uh, Courtney says, LOL, I could still play, just gotta find where my sis put the PS4. Um, let's see. And Mr. Skeleton says, I still play Halo to this day. Halo's good. Halo's great.
Yeah, both my brothers were hardcore into that game, like big time. And I never had an Xbox, so I'd come over and kind of watch them, and I understood why it's good, and I get why it's popular, but it was never a game system I ever had access to, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I've always, being married to a gamer, and I was really into when you and I worked together, Rob, probably
Yeah,
the year, I would come home from my shift that went to 10, when did we close? 10 o'clock. Come
yeah.
home, I would get Live Wire Mountain Dew. That was my favorite Mountain Dew at the time. 8 pieces, and I would play till 3, 4 a.m. Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops. That's all I did for the longest time.
Damn.
And I look back on that like I should have gone to school or something. It's what I should have done with all
Like
that
all this
time.
time being wasted. What could have I done with
I
myself?
really do. I think back to that, I'm like, wow, I really wasted a lot of time on that, but also great times. I played with one of our managers for a while,
What did
uh,
you play with?
Becker.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, he said he'd
That's
only
awesome.
add Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'll only add you if your kill to death ratio is decent." And then he ended up
I
adding. I'm like, "All right, must not have been too bad."
was gonna say, what did you end up being better than him? That would have been even funnier.
Oh no, 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 no. He was kick ass at that game, but
That's funny. Uh,
yeah, yep, yep. That Halo soundtrack, I can hear it now. Daniel said.
right.
Sounds like my little brother. He was really into Halo.
The thing I whenever I think of Halo, the thing I associate it most with is um, Rooster Teeth. Anybody know what that is?
Oh yeah, yeah. The red and blue team or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
red versus blue.
Red versus blue, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when they first came out. I would watch the. Well, my brothers would sit me down like, "Dude, watch this," and there's some of the legitimate, most funniest things. Like great sense of humor that those guys had. So that was funny.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth nailed it with that one. That one is always fun to watch.
And I like how their name is Rooster Teeth because they had an insult they would call each other. They call each other cock bites. So that's where they get Rooster Teeth from.
See, I don't know if I ever knew that. I probably did, but that's really funny.
Yeah. Characters just calling each other cock bites. And I'm like, oh my God. And then it was like, yeah, we're Rooster Teeth. I'm like, oh, jeez.
That's funny. Yeah, that was good. And you're right. I actually do think that a lot of times that's what comes to my mind too when I think of Halo, even if I don't realize it
Yeah.
in the moment.
In
Oh,
fact, me and my two brothers call each other names. Like one of us was, if you remember the names of the characters, there was Church and Sarge and some of the others. Like we
Sarge.
would just like we'd go to like we all three of us worked together at the same job one time for a stretch of like 2 or 3 years, and we
Mhm.
when we'd put our we'd have those little stickers that we'd put on our shirts so we what our names are. We'd put those names on them. There's a picture of all three of us with one of us is Church, one of us is Caboose, and one of us is Sarge. We thought
Oh,
we were
that's
hilarious.
funny.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to see this.
Yeah, I'll have to dig it up. It's some.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, he's got the old ruler out. Getting those
Well, I
angles.
can't draw straight lines freehand.
What'd you say?
Can't draw straight lines freehand.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh my God, I cannot read any of these texts, guy. I'm sorry if anybody's saying anything to me. I have to leave everything to Jessica to see, but I can't read anything.
I think the last thing that's come through for me is Daniel's comment. That Halo soundtrack. I can hear it now. That's the last
Oh,
thing that's
okay.
come through for me, unless my internet died or something. That is possible.
Well, I'm still talking to you, so.
Yeah, but my phone is on my network, not my.
Oh, right, right, right. You're
Yeah,
right.
I do that on purpose because our internet is dog shit.
Oh, shit.
It shouldn't be, but it is. I don't know what we keep having issues. We actually have two different internets right now, so we kind of switch off because we keep having issues with it. So, and you know that if one of them dies, we can't not have another one available.
We can't not be connected to the internet. Well, doesn't your husband work from home ish and it's all online, right? Or, well, obviously, if you're working from home,
Yeah,
you
he's yeah,
gotta have a.
yeah, he works from home. All his stuff he does is out of Chicago or Dubai or so he's kind of gotta have it.
Yeah.
But also because he wants to be without internet.
Right? Have to go outside in the sun and deal with the world. Sounds
Hmm.
horrible.
So true. So true. So I've got this funny thing that I figured out with my kid, my toddler, because we've been trying to get him on a sleep schedule. And there's this show on, I think it's on just on Prime. I don't know if you have to have anything extra for it or what. It's called Northwood's Law, and it's
Yeah.
about um, uh, it's about game wardens in Maine. And for whatever reason, if you turn this show on, it's not the most interesting show, but it's not got some interesting things happening. But if you turn on this show and lay him down with him, you just sit there with him, he will fall asleep in 2 minutes tops.
Really?
Never had a show do this before to any of my children. It's just this particular one. I don't know if it
So
lulls.
is he like fascinated by it? Like you turn it on, he's like, "Oh, good, good, good. I love this show," and and then it just out he goes.
Yeah, he'll just sit there and watch it, and it's got a lot of type of animals, and of course, hunters. They're got to catch all the poachers and all that stuff, and then he's just boom, he's just out. I don't know what it is, but I'm really loving that it's like a solid tactic
Right?
to
You're like,
use.
I'm not going to question it. Just love it.
Exactly. Anyway, cracks me up.
I was really fortunate with my oldest boy. He to this day, he's still like the greatest kid on like to be like, yep, okay, it's time for bed. He'll go lay down and he's out. And he's just done.
Who was it? What your
Where,
young said?
sorry, what's up?
Which one was this? Your youngest?
My oldest, my oldest boy. My youngest is
Oh.
a little bit more ass in everything because he wants to stay. He wants to not go to bed. But my oldest boy was just so perfect, and to this day, he still is with the time to sleep or whatever. He's like, okay, and he'll go lay right down, and out he goes.
Wow. Yeah, that's
He's
awesome.
like,
That's not super surprising. I mean, just knowing his personality a little bit,
yeah,
I could see it.
yeah.
That looks sharp. That one you did, I think you did that one yesterday.
This one,
Yeah, that's sharp looking.
yeah. I was trying to decide. Maybe if anybody in the chat is watching, so I don't know if you could tell. I had like the outline of the circle. He's got his robotic arm and he transforms into a gun. I was gonna like draw the circle so you could see the barrel of the gun, so you can tell that that it's pointing at you. But I kind of thought the idea of having the laser blast, shooting out you wouldn't be able to see the barrel of the weapon. I'm like, I don't know if I want to draw that in there. I think it would not ruin it, but I think it looks better like this. So I'm looking for some feedback from anybody. Is it fine just the way it is?
My personal opinion is I think it's very obvious what's going on, and so I don't think you need
Okay.
it. And I think it makes it look very clean, and like I said, the word that comes to mind is sharp to me. The way that you have the blast completely outlined coming out of it, um,
Yeah.
coming towards you almost.
Yeah, that was the idea. I wanted like, you know, coming at you. So I'm just curious if anybody else kind of agrees with that. I mean, that's
Um,
what I
Dan
wanted it.
says looks good to him. Can you see these coming through or no?
I could see, it's like I could see a mishmash of letters overlapping each other.
So SSJSS Gecko says it looks way better without it. It doesn't need the circle. Mr. Skeleton says don't draw it. I like it the way it is. The blast is big and looks cool. Someone saying says if you do add something, I would do it as a series of broken lines. Oh,
That
I
makes
see what.
sense. If
Yeah, I see. That does make sense.
I'll probably just leave it like it is. That's enough validation for me.
it does look just really clean and cool. And I think, again, I think you can definitely understand what's happening. You don't need it to get the point across.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
own opinion.
Well,
But I'm not a big connoisseur of comic books, so.
well, but you don't have to if you can like see it and make sense of what we're seeing. So,
Wiley J. Draws says, "What would Rob do?"
what would Mr. Liefeld do?
I don't know. I don't know if he's talking about you or Liefeld. You glean what you
Right.
must from that.
It's Liefeld. He would be the laziest, quickest point to getting it done with no care of how actually effective it is.
I think for these lives, we should have you say one nice thing about Rob Liefeld every time. And
I can.
you can't say the same thing every live. You have to say something new, nice about him.
Wow. Wow. That's really put
Just
because
tease.
eventually I'm going to run out of the ability to say I liked his old work on this old book. But how many because beyond that, I don't know anything about him except he's a dickhead online. And,
1 second, I gotta
well,
check.
the end.
Hey Mitchell, is everything good? You okay? Sorry, I could hear that my youngest is definitely awake down there. So I might have limited time left on here, sadly.
What's going on down there? You're saying?
My youngest is awake.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, are you awake?
Oh, is that his little guy?
Yeah. Do you want to go hang out with brothers for a little bit longer and then I'll come down? Sorry, guys. This is what
Oh,
happened.
it's cute. I don't think I've ever heard his voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I've never met him, so
I guess that's fair. I don't know. I feel like I've sent you videos and stuff of him before, but maybe not. Maybe that was like, you know.
and what is he, 2 now?
He is. He's two. Quite, getting quite big, that one.
Terrible 2s.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, he's pretty. He's very sour patchy.
I don't know if I know what that means.
First they're sour, then they're sweet, then there's.
Oh,
That's kind of how he is.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Mr. Skeleton says, "Man, if Liefeld drew that firing cannon, the chest of that character would." Oh no, I've got something covering this. Hold on a second. For some reason, the little emoji thing is covering this. I can't really. Would be humongous with a small head on it.
True.
The proportions would not be right. What you're getting at
And
there.
being fair to Mr. Liefeld, good comic art doesn't have to be proper proportions. Some of my favorite comic artists have weird proportions all over the place, but he so actively doesn't care.
Right. Well, and I think that if you are consistent with your art, like this is my art style. Okay. So I don't do, I make it look quirky. It doesn't necessarily have to have the greatest proportions because this is just part of my art. Okay, cool. But if you're not consistent with that art style, it comes across
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure. For sure. I actually thought this would be a lot faster painting than it's turning out to be. I don't know
Well,
why.
you do have to monitor all communications incoming on the channel because I can't see no damn thing.
That's true. That's true. I am.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Worries at all, actually. And I'm doing it. The obviously the sketch and stuff is very just simplistic. It looks great, but so I'm trying to do blending and make it a little bit more realistic and the way it looks
Yeah.
as well.
What are you gonna have them munching on there?
Pizza.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks triangular, so that was what I was thinking.
Yeah, they wanted this again. This is what my kids wanted. Baby Yoda eating pizza. So,
I mean, you're not gonna put like a little baby frog creature and have its legs flailing back and forth as its head is getting ripped off and have blood and guts everywhere.
that wasn't my idea. However, that does sound awesome. I'm just kidding.
And now that you say that, kids, I changed it up a little
Yeah,
bit. I hope you don't mind.
we don't mind. It's gonna get a little graphic here. No, no, that's not what I'm doing.
All right.
Oh, I see why you had that out. I can see those lines that you were getting all perfect.
Oh yeah, the because he's rocketing through the air. He's on his way to go get Shira and help her out and tell her to pull her head out of her ass. Start
What?
murdering this monster.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember this now.
We had this conversation.
We did. That was kind of that. That was that one we did. What yesterday was it?
Yeah, where you unboxed that comic.
Yeah. Why does it feel like it was not? It was longer ago than that, but it wasn't.
No, that was just yesterday. It's barely 24 hours ago.
Wow. My brain is mush.
I
Someone
guess so.
says my main issue with Liefeld is his lack of attention to the character details. So you mean like he doesn't make characters look like themselves and they look different? Is that what? Or just personality in the story?
He repeats the same poses, the same angles, the same positions. He'll skimp out on the really hard details in favor of just doing the easiest shit. Now, I'm not speaking for him who left the comment, but good lord, is he frustrating?
Daniel Goen says they look different panel to panel. Yeah. Someone saying says when a person can't be bothered to look at the last panel they drew to see whether or not the character should have a beard. Because
Yes, I went
oh,
on a rant
it
about
doesn't
that.
respect the job. Oh, that's hysterical. Uh,
I ran on that on one of those videos of mine. That's exactly what happened.
Daniel says, like glove this panel, no glove next panel. Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
That's ridiculous. Oh boy. No beard.
Yeah, he literally had the two panels side by side, right next to each other.
Who
And
and did someone just not catch that? Like an editor or something? I don't get
right, that yeah, that is the question.
it. That is
But
crazy
at the
now.
time, especially in that era, the specific issue that I'm talking about, he was selling multiple million issues of these books, which
Yeah.
was making mad crazy money. So I think no one was going to get in his way. They're like, the kids like it, just fucking just let him go crazy. We may not get it, but just let him do what he's doing because it's working. And to
Yeah.
be fair, I didn't notice that because the one panel where the character that's supposed to have a beard but didn't was a smaller panel, a very small figure compared to the giant one next to it. So that's what you look at. And then you just move on. So I think that has something to do with it.
Wow. That's crazy town. Wiley J Draws says face consistency is hard for me. Well, I could see that, and I think when you're drawn, especially looking at some of the size of these comic books, like Rob's drawing, it's not always easy to make. Oh, they have the exact same nose structure. They have the exact same cheekbone structure, but you can get a generalization down that you do. I would think,
Yeah.
and I think with you, I know sometimes you use specific models for specific, so you do get more of a similar look each time. But I mean, I think that's more understandable than, obviously if the person's blonde versus having dark hair, or you know white skin versus having dark skin, like those things should be easy to remember. Mr. Skeleton says, for me, it's the huge hulking bodies. It's like so over the top, it's insane. Daniel says,
Yeah.
and beard glove the panel after. So then there's a beard and glove for both on the next panel. Timothy says, I just bought a What If Wolverine was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. done by Liefeld. It's not
Yeah.
bad. It definitely has Liefeld in it, but overall, not too bad.
No, for real. I've got a video of that up on my channel. I listed as one of my favorite. Um, I'm going to say if anyone goes back and look, there's a guy who comments on that. His name is Chuck Gibson. He worked as an inker for in the comic industry, and he commented on that video about what if Wolverine was an agent of Shield. Because I was saying, how did Liefeld do so damn good so early in his career? And he chimed in. He says, "I'll tell you why." The guy who inked it, for those of you who are comic art nerds, Scott Williams, who inks Jim Lee, who's maybe the biggest comic artist living today. That's an arguable point, but the point is he's obviously huge. But this Scott Williams inks Jim Lee, and Scott Williams inked Liefeld on that book. And he says right there in the comment section that these pages would come back with all kinds of weird things just missing that the inker would have to fill in and actually draw. He's like, Wolverine was sitting down and there was like not a chair under him. So the inker had to draw the chair under him.
Oh, for real?
So yeah, he says, so if you want to know why, because he's like, I worked with Scott Williams. I worked in his office when these pages were coming in. I saw it in real time. And I was like, oh my God, that is fascinating as hell. So
That's
that's why the book looked so good as compared to everything else.
wow. Uh, Timothy says makes sense because it was good. Daniel says I'll have
Yeah,
to check that video out.
yeah, it's a couple months old, so you have to go scrolling back a bit, but it's there. Um, but all that aside, Liefeld did good. That's probably the first Liefeld book I ever saw. I didn't pay attention to the names at the time. I was just reading the book, and I remember reading it and going, I love this version of Wolverine. I think it looks really good. This is one of my favorite versions, and to this day, I'll still say that it's. I can say good things about him. His work, it does exist.
Well, I mean, but if that's true, what you're saying, it really wasn't him.
Well, he also drew very differently when he was a lot younger. He tried a lot harder, so you can see the parts where he was absolutely paying attention, and it still looked good. So it's both things.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I gotcha. Um, Someone saying says, yeah, see, stuff like that to me just seems like the guy is an arrogant piece of work. Who doesn't respect what he does? He just tosses what he has out. I'm sorry, I keep getting this stupid emoji thing covers part of the thing on my on this particular out there. and says, "Give me my check."
That's fair.
It is interesting. Again, I don't know that much about this. Everything I pretty much know is either based in the very few comic books I've ever had that or what I've gleaned from your channel actually.
Right.
So it is interesting to learn some of this, and it does give me a lot of respect for comic book artists because I do think that in for a long time in the art world, and maybe I'm wrong, but I did take a few art classes, college classes that I never got anything from, like I never got a degree or anything like that. And that it was kind of like, oh yeah, you've got your comic book artists are kind of like your, I don't know, subpar artists because they're just drawing kids books, right? But that is just
Yeah, they
not
never.
at all. Like at all.
Oh, yeah. Anybody who thinks that doesn't understand what's actually going on.
Like, that wouldn't have been considered, you know, art in the way that all these other types and genres were. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to me. Because when you see what all goes into not just the art part, but the actual full creating of it, it's pretty in depth and lengthy, and it's definitely not just a kid's book.
No, it's a serious art form that takes dedication and skill and patience, and yeah, it's much more respected now. But there was a long stretch when professional comic artists wouldn't tell people what they would do for a living because it was kind of a joke. But now it's like, oh yeah, I draw comics.
Yeah,
Now it's cool.
now it's super cool. Exactly. It's like, oh, that's cool. Someone says it's hard to appreciate someone's art when they don't respect it themselves.
There you go.
That's a
I
true
like
statement.
that.
It's absolutely true. Maybe I should respect my art more. Maybe more people would appreciate it since I'm always coming down on myself. It's a good point, though. I think that sometimes, like in the situation Rob Liefeld, like you were saying, you can tell that you respected some of his old stuff more, even if it wasn't very good, because you could tell he was trying harder
Yep.
um, than now, or his later stuff at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt like he had more passion to give a shit. He still loves comics and he loves drawing them, but he doesn't try a fraction as much as he used to.
Hmm.
And that insulting part.
Yeah, and I get that. That's a good statement. Well, I hate to say this, but I might have to jump off here. I've got my husband just got home and realizing it's 6:50. I haven't had any of my children. They might want to eat.
Maybe I gotta go, kids. I gotta get them all showered up so I can take them back to their mom's house too.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were saying that. Someone saying says, well, that's not exactly it. Finding fault in your own work is just personal critique. I'm saying he looks at his work, sees it's not done, and simply doesn't care. Yeah, now I know what you're saying. That's true.
Yeah.
I do put a lot of effort into it, and if I don't like it, I still try really hard. I definitely don't look at it and think, oh, no big deal. I'll get paid anyways. My inker can fix it.
Right. Right.
Then I realized I don't have an inker. And I'm like, damn it, I have to ink this myself. And I hate inking. So yeah.
You got no one but you to blame.
Mm-hmm. So true. So true. But anyways, this was fun.
Yeah, yeah, always fun.
I'll try to
Just
do the unboxing at some point this week. I'll try to make that happen. Keep you updated.
yeah. Well, just remember my criteria. Nothing that involves even remotely approaching you getting hurt.
Okay, Dad.
Right? I'm such a grump.
Oh my goodness. Well, Daniel says I threw down the last line on my issue 3 during this live stream. Thanks for the company. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, you got issue 3 done?
That's sick.
That's
That's
God. Yeah, I
sick.
wish I could. Yeah, he's got quite the body of work. It's awesome.
I'm
It's a great thing, isn't it, Daniel, to have like a body of work to be able to show people. Like I have produced comics. Here they are, and you've got at least um, 3. What are you working on? The next 2, something to that effect. You're making things happen, and a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thanks everyone. I'm going to jump off here, but it was super fun. Not quite finished with this. Maybe I'll finish it on another live this week. But yeah, this was awesome. Mr. Skeleton says, same here. I drew my last panel for my comic page that I'm doing. Was nice listening and drawing along. Someone saying says nice. So yeah, awesome. Everybody got something done today. That's awesome.
Yeah, great. I like hearing that. That's fun.
Yeah, that's super cool. All right. Well, I will talk to you later, Rob. Talk to you guys later sometime, and we'll do this again soon.
Yep, I gotta go get my kids done too. So,
Worked out. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you
all
so
right.
much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.